Black Beast does it in St. Louis. He gets the job done. We answered the question, is he a gatekeeper? Is he a contender? Listen, heavyweight division, you get the longest leash the later your career goes on. And Derrick Lewis, clearly, he's showing he's not going anywhere. Folks, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Bloody Water Podcast. My name is Derick G. Today, we're going to be breaking down the aftermath of UFC St. Louis, the picks, the props, the parlays, the entire nine. Couldn't do it without my co-host, the Santa Fe Bomber, the New Mexico native, AJ, Derrick Lewis. He took the shorts off, he took the cup out, he threw it into the crowd, man. He's a fan favorite. I imagine win or loss, it doesn't matter where he goes, the man's gonna be sticking around for a while. What'd you think of the fights?
Man, it was a hell of a weekend, Derek, especially coming off a pay-per-view. This is the ones we like to see, man. These are for the hardcores. I got a question. Do you think the longer leash extends once Uncle Dana signed his cup?
You know what? Yeah, absolutely. He signed the cup. He said Derrick Lewis can do whatever the hell that he wants. He's the only fighter who can get away with just taking his shorts off time and time again here in the cage. But that's the gimmick, man. That's the WWE side of the whole promotion right there. I will say this, man. At the end of the day, he's saying if there's going to be these new contenders, these top 15 type guys, and they think they could take me out, it's not going to happen. But we also had a lot of other fun stuff to talk about. AJ, Chase Hooper. Listen, man, 155 is looking electric right now. Dogs were barking at UFC St. Louis. So let's jump into the records and take a look at what the number or the aftermath ended up being. So I got the win on the week by a small margin, but it's basically an even playing field. We don't even deserve the claps right there because we're not even nearly close enough to a margin worth speaking about. But this is the point. Another week goes by, another week above 60%, baby. We love it. Not where we need to be because we're aiming for 70%, but you know how it goes. AJ, let's jump straight into the bet recap and let's talk about it. Accountability time, baby. Let's go. All right, man. Big screen is up right here, as you can see. And we got a lot of gold. We got a lot of red. But AJ, I have to ask, every single time, when you start off a card, 3 in the red, and you're like, all right, we need to get a bounce back. It must have felt good to get those last 3 on top. What do you think?
Oh, especially the last 3 with some knockouts, a couple knockouts in there, Derek. Yeah, your boy was stressing those first 3 fights for sure.
That's it right there, man. And I will say, if you're looking at the consensus red right here, we only got 1, which is good news, right? And that's the one that we don't want to talk about. We're going to jump into it anyways right here. So I finished 4-2. AJ finishes 3-3. Again, it's pretty much an even slate right here, but let's jump into those consensus picks. 2-1, AJ. So close to pulling off the 3-0 again. What did I say? Mateusz Rebecki closed at minus 400 over, even maybe got to minus 500 on fight night. He was the parlay buster. He was the guy everybody hooked every parlay to, and he let us all down. In revisionist history, I like the pick. I wouldn't go back on the pick. Diego Ferreira has a granite chin. He uses veteran experience. Do you have anything else to say on that?
No, man, I'm not surprised at how well Diego Ferreira performed. Wouldn't change my pick either, man, but I love to see this shake him up anytime a new guy comes in and gets stomped on.
It was one of those where it's like I lost my bet, but I am happy about the outcome because who doesn't love Carlos Diego Ferreira? You got to love it. All right, now to some good news right here, AJ. Look at the props, baby. 2-0 right here. 2 with the same exact number, I guess you could say the odd. Buckley and Ruziboyev over 1.5 cashes. Hooper versus Borshchev, Slavaclaus over 1.5 cashes. Both on winning streak with the props. So cash that in, folks. Hit the comment section below if you cashed in on either one of these or if you did an even better thing and you parlayed them together. I'm just saying. But you want to talk about the real parlays. We came close, but no cigar. 1-1 on the parlays, keeping us under 500 right here. The Lewis and the Buckley moneyline cashes at plus 171, which you got to love the value right there. Oldberg versus Menefield over 1.5, that stood no chance. And then the Rebecki money line, of course, we got let down right here. So just taking a look back at the parlays one more time. Are we running this one again? Is this just bad bet? What are we thinking?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm not too upset at that Oldberg Menefield. I mean, a flash KO happens. I do think maybe the stoppage was a little quick, but arguably Oldberg was about to just go to work after that. So I'm not too upset. Rambetsky, man, that one, you know, like you said before, not upset about the bet. Parlay buster. It is what it is. It happens.
I am chalking up the Oldberg and Menefield fight to, well, that's a strategy right there by Alonzo Menefield, and we'll talk about what we mean about that a little bit later. But folks, that is your just overall bet recap right there. So those were the main picks that we gave on over for you. If you cashed in, let us know. If you did not cash in, if you missed on one of them, let us know, man. Accountability, we love it here. But with that being said, we got some fights to talk about here, AJ. But before we do that, folks, let me go ahead and solo out and remind you, if you have not subscribed at this portion of the program, you definitely should. We're gaining momentum, and we're gaining momentum fast. We're actually already almost at 930 subscribers, very, very close to reaching that goal of 1,000. We just hit that 900 mark, like probably a week and a half ago. So we're saying we're trying to hit that 1,000 ASAP. So if you're a Uzbeki fan who tune in just to watch us talk about Nursultan Ruziboyev, or if you're just a global fan and you love the fight stuff, go ahead and drop that subscription. We love to see it. All right, AJ, it is time. Let's talk about a couple of the barking dogs. We're going to do this a little out of order than we normally do right here. So if you look at the barking dogs on the card, there was 4 of them. I'm talking about the ones that came through, overcame, and hit that dog status. Diego Ferreira clearly is going to be the main one that we're going to be talking about here today. So let's actually break down that fight first. And let me go ahead and let me bring up the big screen right here, AJ, and I'll get us all prepared. Diego Ferreira versus Mateusz Rebecki, man. And this is a fight where we said it on this program. I know I said it at least, so I'll definitely take the heat on this. I said, how does Diego Ferreira win if he's not just trying to sub Rebecki off of his back with a guillotine or doing something of that nature? We didn't have a lot of answers, AJ, but the answer was ultimately this. Granite chin, war of attrition, you outlast him, and then you beat him up, and you make sure he can't see out of either eyes. What did you think about the performance here?
Man, we've said it time and time again. When you have those marauders, those people are just going to walk you down. They're used to bullying people in the cage. You end up knuckling them up back, man, and the ego kind of falters a little bit. They get a little timid in there, and we saw Diego Ferreira just really put those knuckles to work. Anytime that he was, looking to make some moves, we saw Rebecki having a moment of thought, if you will, trying to see what's going on, been in a place where he's never been before in the UFC. And this was an eye-opener for a lot of people out there. You can't really sleep or you can't bet on a minus 400 favorite with full confidence anymore.
The fact that Rebecki was gassed like 2 minutes into round 2 was just very telling, because it's like, oh man, you really blew out the reserves that quick. But it goes to show some of these guys, you're steamrolling time and time again. You say, losing isn't a possibility, right? Everybody will wilt under my pressure. And Diego Ferreira, with the veteran experience and the jiu-jitsu repertoire to be able to create scrambles and get back up to his feet, it was a hallmark for live dog status almost. I don't know. I want to reassess this one, man, because if you take a look back at it, obviously all of these numbers by Ferreira, they kind of came towards the later stage of the fight. He was getting his legs kicked out from him. Look at the takedowns, 4 for 5 for Rebecki, right? So takedown reversals and takedowns for Ferreira. He landed his own. He closed, I believe, at plus 315. That was like the current odd that we were looking at before the fight before the fight started, excuse me. So my question is this. I'm a little hard pressed to be like, hey, show me your Diego Ferreira tickets, your Diego Ferreira by TKO or by decision tickets, any one of those. Like, show me those. I'm finding myself a little hard pressed to see anybody actually taking those bets. Is this, in revisionist history, something you can even validate to say you would have taken the bet, or 9 out of 10 times you're going Rebecki, especially with how heavy of a favorite he was?
I think 9 out of 10 times, Derek, you're still looking at how that money lays out, right? Especially with how, I don't want to say new Rebecki is to the sport, but new to a lot of these people's eyes, a lot of the bettors' eyes. You can't just go in there and instantly think, it's going to be one way or the other. So I do think 9 times out of 10, that is the smart play. But man, when a live dog comes in, and especially a dog like Diego Ferreira or of similar cloth, it's a hard bet, man.
If I'm not mistaken, Rebecki came into the fight on like a 16-fight win streak too. So that's another reason why when you take a look at the numbers and you say, all right, 19-2 now, right? This dude's smashing everybody, chokes, decisions, knockouts. He's everybody, man. So this is the first loss, and this is the big question, because we're definitely going to be talking about somebody a little bit in just one moment here, AJ, that fits this category. But this is the big question. Fraud check? Was Rebecki fraud checked, or is this just a loss by a crafty veteran?
I think this is a loss by a crafty veteran, Derek. I'm not necessarily ready to say fraud check yet. I'm interested to see how Rebecki handles getting out of the first round again, because it was a drastic drop-off after that. If he's able to come back and we can see some things, then I'm ready to roll with it. But if he comes back in the same style, same kind of pace, if you will, for that first round, I'm ready to say fraud check.
All right, well, I guess we will just have to wait and see, but there was other plus money that did cash on this fight. The over 2.5 rounds was plus 315. This is the same exact odd as Diego Ferreira winning right here, man. So if you bet the over right there, Oh, man. Show me your ticket. Show the tickets. Email them in. Do what you need to do, man, because, hey, listen, we need to have a conversation. But I'm just saying, dog was barking right here. We need to get a dog effect, a barking dog effect for when some of these cash right here, because I'd love to see that one. All right, man, the next one that I want to talk about right here, this is the one. AJ, I said it. This is the most interesting fight on the entire main card because this was a battle of unknown right here. But guess what? We found out. And AJ, I am ready to do it. It's time. Actually, let me see. You hear that, right? Fraud check, AJ. I'm calling it right now. We saw it. And hey, this is the reality of the game. Waldo Cortes-Acosta rolled up against Robles de Spain, the 6'7" crusher, the Olympic Taekwondo medalist. The man who walks you down with his arms straight down at his hips and just throws heat at you. Well, guess what, man? You could do that and you can knock everybody out with an average fight time of 18 seconds until you get taken down. And then you get to see, this is not Taekwondo. This is not boxing. This is MMA. And Waldo Cortes-Acosta, look at that. He put the numbers on him. A little sad he couldn't get the finish. But I think that this was a fraud check alert right here. People were saying, AJ, I'm going to solo out to say, people were saying that Robles de Spain is your next heavyweight champion. The man that had 5 fights in his entire career. They were already crowning him, saying this dude is an unstoppable crusher who's going to be a champion. I want your take on the, once again, on the fraud check, AJ. Talk to the people.
I think those people that are saying that, Derek, might need to go have a medical checked as well. Make sure they're doing okay today, because I don't know what the hell they're smoking, man. I know. And then this is coming from a guy who bet on Despain right here. So no, I'm with you. Absolute fraud check. This is the only pick of the card that I wish I could have taken it back, especially once we saw how comfortable Waldo Cortes-Acosta was in there, seeing how things were going. He was like, all right, I'm good. I'm just going to take this guy down. No problems at all. Absolutely a fraud check. Unfortunately, like you said, that Waldo Cortes-Acosta couldn't get the finish. But, man, this was one of those ones where you put on, you see a fighter, you see the glitz and the glam, and then realize there's so many other skills he's lacking. You can't just stand in there and try to bang with these heavy dudes.
And it's fair to want to bet on somebody due to their prospective nature. I don't even know the right word, man. You can see the promise in Despain. Like, you could see it. This dude is a freak athlete. You get some more training. You get the man in a jiu-jitsu gym, show him how to sprawl, how to defend a takedown. All right, now we're talking for real. But just coming in with this raw talent right here, man, you can only go so far. And the moment you fight a dude like Salsa Boy, who is like a credentialed MMA fighter, has boxing experience, when you're getting taken down with ease by Waldo Cortes-Acosta, let's just say you got some work to do. So this is really the big point. It's not a, hey, haha, you bet on Despain. That's not even what this is about. What this is about is we saw immense value that the UFC tried to spin a narrative on us to get us to double down on the chalk that was Despain. Clearly, the best value on the card was Waldo Cortes-Acosta, aside from Diego Ferreira, right? So I love that plus 195 ticket price that he cashed in on like before close. My only question to you, man, is what are people betting on Despain moving forward? Because a lot of people were saying that this is the best price you will get on Despain for many years to come.
No, I think you're going to get a lot better of a price here in the near future, especially if the UFC kind of rolls with how they're used to, right? They give you the worst fights possible, especially for an up-and-coming fighter who's looking to build his resume, looking to build his repertoire and find those ways. I don't see the UFC feeding this guy just strikers from the jump. If they do, then we're going to see another fraud check alert coming up, because the second Despain is able to fight somebody who is of that caliber of a wrestler, it's all going downhill from there. So I'm expecting them to try to build this guy up, because there's a lot of potential there, right, Derek? Big dude, hands down, great fight style. If you can have those other acumens to him, we can see some serious moves get made, but I'm not expecting a favorite anytime in the near future.
Now, what do you make of Waldo Cortes-Acosta from this side? Because it doesn't really look like he won much. Normally, you steal the star power of a Despain, but then you got Dana White saying, oh, yeah, I'll give him an award for the shittiest fight of the night. And it's like, yo, you don't want your boss talking about you like that. But that was the best path to victory. That was your path of least resistance to defeat the golden boy, right? The guy that they're trying to hype up. So just give me a quick sentence on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a great win for Cortes-Acosta, but a win that almost does nothing for him because of how unskilled on the ground his opponent was. So it doesn't really hype anybody up. I mean, thankfully he gets to double his check, but that's about it.
That's it. That's it. All right. Well, fair play by Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Listen, pulling up the numbers again right here. The numbers look sharp, bro. 3-4 for the takedowns. He even had a submission attempt right here, which was hilarious because I think he was trying to submit to Spain while they're like, you need to be more active and do something. He's literally trying to Americana the man right here. Like, what are we talking about? But for what it's worth, that was cash right there. One more thing that we would need to touch on again when we're talking about plus money on this fight right here. The over 1.5 rounds was plus 195 to cash right there, and let's just say it cashed big time right there. So big win, big plus money right there. Let's move on to the next bout right here, AJ. That was dogs barking, cash money right here. This was our featured prelim. Hooper Chase, the Wonder Boy Hooper. That's what we're going to call him. I don't even remember what his nickname is, but Slava Claus he went from looking like a world-class kickboxer to a man who has never touched a wrestling mat in his life, a man who has never touched MMA octagon in his life. That's how Chase Hooper made him look. But reality is, this was just a flawless, stunning performance by Chase Hooper. This is probably the best performance we've seen out of him in his entire career. It's safe to say, AJ, that the man is very clearly blooming into the 155-pound division. This is my question to you when you review some of these numbers right here. There's no way you play this fight out 5 times. This happens all 5 times. There's no way, dude, So in a situation where Slava Claus maybe respects the striking of Hooper a little bit more, doesn't get caught early, and is a little more on guard for some of that stuff right here, do you think the fight plays out differently? Or is Chase Hooper going to be that guy that touches gold like we alluded to in the previous show?
Well, Derek, it's hard to not keep going with what I was saying before, where Chase Hooper is in line, or not in direct line, but he's in the path to get some gold going forward. But I agree with the first statement. I think if Slava Claus has a little bit more cautious, a little bit more respect for what Chase Hooper can do, this fight plays out differently, at least not right from the jump. Like, Chase Hooper looked to show that he has evolved his game, but we've seen Slava Claus in there with some very credentialed strikers before. Be able to navigate, be able to mitigate a lot of the tools they're using on him, and find a path to at least, if not secure victory, make it a very challenging fight. So I do think this is going to, if this played out 5 times, I think those numbers are a lot closer than just a complete blowout from Hooper.
Now, there was a little controversy regarding this fight, but I don't think it merits enough to actually do like a film breakdown on it. So Chase Hooper, after beating the brakes off of Slava Claus for 10 minutes, right, locks up a Darce choke. Slava Claus is working out of it. He's getting ready to turn. And then as a byproduct of him turning, feeling like, all right, where's the hip? When you're in those positions, you can't see. So you have to use your hands. You have to use your body to kind of feel around your opponent and see where you're going to make your next move at. He taps the side of Hooper and then goes to explode out of the choke. And the referee calls it, says he tapped, said it doesn't have to be multiple taps. But we talked about the ghost tap, the Brazilian taps before. So here's let's lay it out right here. I don't think it changes the outcome of the fight. But was that a tap? Was that a bad stoppage, is what I should say?
Derek, I didn't think so when the fight was going on, because I agree with you. I don't think it changes the winner of the fight. It might change the outcome in the method of victory. So it changes it big for bettors, right? If you're betting on that submission, man, you're hyped up. If you're betting on the decision, you're a little pissed because you think you might have gotten cheated a little bit right there. But I do think the right man won for this fight. I don't know, because in time I saw the tap and I saw what was going on, but when you talk about it, like you're saying, things can happen. I'm a little bit more of a fan of that longer leash. I want to see a couple taps come in and let it be known that this is me actually submitting. This is me saying, "Oh, let go or I'm going to die," instead of just a quick one tap and then we're out. I don't know. It's a weird gray zone, if you will.
It definitely is. But one thing that I will show on the screen right here, man, is I'm just going to give us a quick look at the big screen right here. We got to pull this up right here, AJ. Look at that hematoma, bro. That's what Hooper did to Slava Claus right there. So imagine you got that on your head. Your whole head is red. That part's white because no blood is going to that part of your hematomaed out head, and you're submitting. I don't know. It's a weird spot, but it was not the greatest look right there for a Slava Claus. So that was the favorite right there. That was the minus money. Chase Hooper cashed, and he actually cashed at, looks like, plus 120 right there. So shout out to Chase Hooper. Big win, and I do not envision him being plus money in his next couple of matchups right there. Let's just say that. All right, AJ, one more before we jump into the normal swing of things. Another dog cashed. Charles the Inner G Johnson. He gets it done in his hometown right here against Jake Hadley. This was actually a very controversial fight, and not controversial in the sense of the outcome per se. but it was more controversial in the sense of a lot of people were riding with Charles Johnson, thinking that this was a very, very favorable matchup in terms of his ability to wrestle, his ability to just kind of make this a dog fight and get the big win. He got the big win, didn't do a lick of wrestling right here, basically just boxed with Jake Hadley the entire time. But I think that this is a real testament. This dude is one of the most active guys in his division, probably in the entire promotion. This is a dude who's fighting everybody and anybody, all the top prospects. It's only a matter of time till this man gets a top 15 shot. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely, Derek. I'm even thinking 2 or 3 fights coming up. We're gonna see Energy up there in the rankings, or at least fighting for the rankings going forward. It's only a matter of time, man. This guy's getting some eyes on him. He's fighting in not his home state or his hometown, whatever it was, and we're getting momentum going finally, man. And it's hard to see Charles Energy, because he's a great fighter, kind of get overlooked by a lot of people. But with this kind of performance, I don't see that happening much more.
But you see why he's getting overlooked, because if you take a look at his record, man, look at the activity first off, right? So it comes to the UFC debut, Muhammad Mokaev, you lose a decision. You beat Zalmaz Zumagulov, split decision him, beat Jimmy Flick, lose to Ode Osborne, Cody Durden, and Rafael Esteban. Come back against Azat Maksum. Let's not forget, the dude was undefeated at the time of victory right here. And then you beat Jake Hadley. To me, this is nothing but impressive. Shout out to the Energy, Charles Johnson. And look at these losses, man, because 4 of his entire 6 losses all coming in the UFC. That's, I mean, you got to give it up to him right there. So shout out to that. If you're looking at the number that he cashed on, we're looking at plus 125. So it wasn't like a major dog, but that's plus money, and we're going to take that plus money all day long. So those were the barking dogs right there. We wanted to make sure we covered those. I'm definitely going to be getting some dog sounds here on the program, some wolf sounds, you feel me, so that we can make a bigger spectacle of it. But with that being said, AJ, let's just do a quick run through of the other main card fights, and then get to it as usual. So Derrick Lewis over Rodrigo Nascimento. This is a opportune time to talk about this fight right here, because AJ, I'm not going to lie to you. I have to give a little bit of transparency to the people. I bet on Derrick Lewis. I think I caught him at minus 155 or something like that, right? Put a pretty sizable wager on him. And after watching the first round play out and a little bit of the second, I was very upset, because I was like, this is the demise of Derrick Lewis. It's a wrap. It's over here, man. I was like, why is this dude saying, you know what, best path to victory? Let me clinch up the guy who wants to wrestle me, take me down, and beat me up, right? So it didn't make sense to me. I actually said, all right, I gave in, AJ. I gave in. I went to the live betting. I dropped a fat wager on Nascimento right here at like minus 104. I'm thinking I got tremendous value, because I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm going to break even right here. I can get my money back on Nascimento. Lo and behold, Derrick Lewis comes out round 3. And the plan that I thought was the plan of action, the strategy for him to win, was Nascimento will not be able to stand and trade with Derrick Lewis. Unless he takes him down for all of 25 minutes, he's not going to be able to stand and trade. Little did we know, Derrick Lewis knocks him out. And I wouldn't want to wager, but I basically don't make any money, because, I didn't stick with my gut, folks. So that is my lesson to you guys, that sometimes, man, place your wager and stay off the live lines, man. Just stick with the wager and keep it pushing. What is your take on my tragic tale of the Derrick Lewis fight night?
Hey, man, it happens to the best of us. Sometimes anxiety takes over. You think I can make a little bit more money if I go this way. Don't let those live odds fool you, folks. I mean, they're there for a reason, but we've seen them even fool pros on live TV when they're trying to talk about them. So it's a narrative, and this is one of those ones where I'm right with you, Derek. As a coach, seeing another coach tell his pupil, don't wrestle. Don't clinch. Keep him on the front foot. Keep your foot in the center of the octagon. I want you controlling this. And then he goes out instantly and does the opposite. It's frustrating. It makes you want to just say, like, you literally throw your hands up, throw the clipboard down. It's frustrating. So I can see where you're trying to bet in and trying to make those moves happen. Good thing, man. Derrick Lewis has the God-given death touch right here, and he just can put you to sleep, man.
All it takes, bro, is him just sitting there and just holding his ground and saying, let's trade, let's swing and bang him. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Black Beast. So he gets the job done. And then what does he say after? He says, there's no way I'm losing to no taxi cab driver from Brazil. I didn't even know who that guy was until tonight, So it goes to show that Derrick Lewis is like, hey, listen, man, I'm a fixture in this division. I'm not going nowhere. But at the same time, on one hand, he says, hey, this is my prime, right? I'm locking in. Then he says, I'm getting too old for this shit, man. I don't know how much longer I could do this. So he signed a fat contract. You can never take what he says seriously, because he's such a jokester. But are we going to be seeing more of these Derrick Lewis closing at minus 170, 150? Are we seeing more of those lines? Because if that's the case, I like the odds, depending on the matchup, of course. But I like those odds moving forward. At least you get a discount on the Derrick Lewis price. What do you think?
No, I do think we're going to see a little bit more of the Derrick Lewis at a favorite going forward. And especially now that we've seen him kind of be able to handle that ground game. And I'm not sure if the what he said before the fight, the 2 torn shoulders, the double ear infection, who knows if that actually had a big impact on the outcome of his last fight and being held down that entire time. We saw some different moves out of this one. We saw Derrick be able to stand up, but arguably the level of ground game is not nearly the same as his last opponent. So we'll see, man. I'm excited for the favorite that Derrick Lewis is going to be. Always a showman, always a performer, man. We love to see it. I'm excited to see who they line him up against next.
And also with the UFC saying, hey, no more, and I say no more, but like we want to start phasing out some of the Apex events. Let's start getting back out to these road shows. That's first off what the fans have been wanting, but more important, yeah, you get these guys, these characters in front of fans. That's when this is all electric. That's when moments are made. So big win by Derrick Lewis. Again, not a gatekeeper, but a contender. And AJ, this co-main event right here had me on the edge of my seat, but I'm not going to say fraud check because actually this was a very valiant effort right here. But all right, AJ, let me take a step back. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to continue this line. Sometimes, man, you got to prove it. You got to prove it. I cannot just take faith. I cannot take a couple flashy performances and say, you're the guy. I need to see it against the upper echelon of the division that you're fighting in. And when we pulled up the tape, when we looked at the numbers, when we looked at the historical trends, Nursultan Ruziboyev has a fantastic frame for middleweight and for welterweight, but historically has not prospered the best at welterweight. Another welterweight fight, another welterweight loss. Joaquin Buckley was just simply on another level. It doesn't matter that he's 5'9" and had to really close that distance. Look at the numbers here, AJ. What do these numbers tell you in respect to this matchup?
Man, dominance, man, and a veteran who knows how to get the job done, even though he's presented with a very dangerous opponent. Because I'm with you, Derek. I'm not calling fraud check on Nursultan yet, or at all, I should say, because he put up a valiant effort. Mm-hmm. But Buckley, man, he knew exactly what he needed to do to get the job done, and that's impressive right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And more on that level right there. Not just knowing what he needs to do to get the job done, but he got clipped a couple times, and he was able to kind of weather that storm. He was able to use his wrestling and say, all right, Ruziboyev. And that was the first thing that stood out on tape to me when I watched Ruziboyev for the first time coming into the UFC against Bruno Ferreira. I was like, there's one thing that this man does. Yeah, he's got a ton of submissions, but he just gives up the takedown. Just like time and time again, he gives it up. He's not sprawling. So for Joaquin Buckley, who has turned a little D1 recently, I said it, man, I like this new Joaquin Buckley. This guy is dangerous. And for him on short notice to beat a 6'5" monster in Nursultan Ruziboyev at 170 pounds. I think it speaks volumes right here. You have to love that ticket that we cashed in on. Minus 135 was the close for Joaquin Buckley. Fantastic price for this type of matchup right here. I'm just wishing that I would have took a little more juice on the over. We cashed on the over for the Joaquin Buckley and Ruziboyev, but I would have took more juice. I would have threw more on that one because I felt like that was the best path to victory was Nursultan early KO or Joaquin Buckley drag it out. But did you think that there was an option for Buckley to go in there and just starch him early? Because Ruziboyev got a chin. Let's just say that.
Yeah, Ruziboyev got a chin, and he knows how to use that range well. And once he saw the peekaboo style and he felt the little bit of power, I shouldn't say a little bit of power, he felt the power that Buckley possesses. You saw Ruziboyev kind of just step back a little bit. And even Buckley, at some times, he would let his arms down and be like, come on, man, let's go. And right there, that gave me all I needed to see, that Nursultan respects the power, didn't want to get clipped again, and knew he needed to fight a smart fight going forward.
Buckley finishes the fight, hops on the mic, and does arguably one of the worst call-outs that you could make right here. You have an opportunity. You have real contenders in front of you in your division, real actionable fights. And then he basically, I can't even play the clip because YouTube wouldn't even let us play it, but he calls out Conor McGregor, and he doesn't stop any short of saying, your granddaddy a hoe, your mama a hoe, everybody a hoe, your whole family's a hoe. I'm like, bro, you're not going to get a fight that way. Like, you could talk all that craziness, and McGregor is just going to be like, listen, dude, sorry, man. Wasn't you working at Walgreens the other day? Like, I'm on my yacht, training, doing my thing. Listen, all these fools got more money than me. All I'm saying here is missed opportunity. What are we thinking?
A missed opportunity by far, Derek. I love the shot. I love the call out. I love the enthusiasm. I love even telling him that his mama raised him a hoe. Like, it's hilarious out there. It provides entertainment. I just think there's a better person you could have done that you're actually going to get a fight. Conor McGregor's not going to come in here and fight you. I mean, it's just how it works. Man's got so much money. He's picking and choosing. He's made Michael Chandler wait 3 years to fight him. Not a chance Buckley's going to be jumping forward. So I think it was a wasted time in going for Conor, man. Makes no sense to me at all.
It's just funny too because they asked Dana, they're like, "So is Joaquin? Is he gonna get Conor?" He was like, "No, no, bro. Like we're not even. Is that a serious question? Come on, chill." All right, so big victory right there for Joaquin Buckley in St. Louis again, short notice. Yeah, listen, it's a moment. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. But AJ, this next one we have some video footage to accompany right here because I was just so flabbergasted. The flabbers were absolutely gasted on this one. Alonzo Menifield with a strategy against Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg needed all but 12 seconds. And when they had, and forgive me, because on the pre-show, I was alluding to Alonzo Menifield with his great camp with the General, Saif Saud, and Fortis MMA. It was Pat Barry. I don't know why I was thinking the General. It's because both of them are very screaming at their fighter type, right? Well, they said Alonzo Menifield needed Pat Barry because he woke up that violence in him. This was violence directed the wrong way. He just blitzed forward at a technical sharpshooter and got picked apart in 12 seconds. And I don't understand it. And I wish he would have took it back. And I want my bet back because this is an MMA variance anomaly right here. But before you give your take, AJ, let me pull up some accompanying footage. This is the start of the fight. And then fight IQ just completely goes out the window. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's the entire fight. One total strike landed, I guess. I don't even know where that strike landed at, but Carlos Ulberg got him with the check hook, and that was that. Now that we've watched the accompanying footage, give me your take on this.
Man, this was a complete lapse of judgment or game plan or whatever you want to call it. This was not at all. You run this fight 10 times. I would never expect Alonzo Menifield just to blitz in on a counter striker, full tilt, hands down, just swinging and bang, trying to get a knockout where the counter striker is just literally walking back and then clips you. Like it makes zero sense from a fight strategy at all, unless you're going to try to blitz him up and then get to his hips and take him down. But we saw none of that. We saw no defense at all out of Menifield. It was just red. He saw red, and this is what happens when you see red in a fight. You go to sleep.
Yeah, you definitely go to sleep right there. I don't know what else to say on this one, man. This one bummed me out, and this is my only question because there's nothing to talk about. It was a 12-second knockout. Carlos Ulberg, the Black Jag. People are going to take this and they're going to be like, this guy is the next top 5, top 10 guy. We need to see a full fight right here. You know what I mean? That was impressive. Don't get me wrong. But here's my question. Do you see the value that I saw on the pick right there, right? Like there was the nuclear option available, just not in that method right here. So is this one where you say, Derek, you're an idiot, take that pick back, excuse me, or do you say, I get the logic, this is MMA variance? What do you think?
No, Derek, I get the logic, especially if Menifield would have went in there a little bit more calm, right? Yeah, like a minute, 2 minutes into the fight, then you really start feeling out. You get the timing, you get the stuff. Then you can work the blitz. Then you can really start putting those chess pieces together and avoid the counter strikes. Man, we were talking about it all in the pre-show. Ulberg is a hell of a counter striker, so if he can kind of get that feeling there, and that's why I bet on the over 1.5. That makes so much sense to me to take the time to let the fight build up a little bit and then go for the crazy power, the crazy strikes, the crazy violence that we want to see. That's a great game plan for Menifield. You just can't do it in the first 3 seconds.
Yeah, man, definitely 2 power strikers. Take some time to respect each other, assess out each other's skills, cash on the over 1.5, but MMA variance at its finest right there. So big win by the Black Jag, and he does cash on that chalky minus 115 TKO prop right there. So big victory. All right, AJ, the next one that we're going to be breaking down, this one was a little bit controversial, but this is another one where I definitely can see both sides right here. Sean Woodson, he gets the decision victory over Alex Caceres right here. Questionable scorecard, 30-27. I don't really know in what world Sean Woodson won all 3 rounds. But the point is this, man. This was a value pick for Alex Caceres. This is a dude who's a veteran. He's crafty. He knows how to get the job done. But it's just very difficult, man. I really think unless you're taking him down against a guy with the frame of Sean Woodson. So Caceres started picking up as Woodson started slowing down. But it was a little bit too late at that point. This is what I want to bring up before we assess the matchup right here. I brought out the MMA decisions sheet right here because there was controversy. Look at this, AJ. You might not be on the wrong side of the pick. Only 3 Woodson backers right here. Still crazy scorecard, 30-27. Don't know what that's about. But the vast majority of the media did score this fight in favor of Alex Caceres. And let me give it a refresh, see if any more have added to it. No, it looks like that's just about it right there. So now that you know where the media sides, you know what the numbers look like. And yeah, give me your take on this fight.
Ironically, Derek, I actually think the right man won this fight. I know I was betting on Caceres. I know, and you're right. He did pick up, and he started really to win round 3. And if this was a 5-round fight, I could see Caceres winning this indecision, just really just pacing away. But this is a 3-round. You start slow, you lose round 1 by a pretty decent margin. And I agree with you. I don't think 30-27 is right at all. But I do think that second round, where Caceres started to pick up, where Woodson started to kind of falter a little bit, I still give the advantage to Woodson just off of damage and pace and output, right? Because Caceres was trying to find the mark. He was trying to find ways in, and he started to get there towards the end of the round. But I still think this is such a close fight. I'm not mad at all at the pick either. I would take Caceres again in this fight. I think he can win it. Just with how this fight itself unfolded, I think the right man won.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we tuned up the controversy right here, AJ, but there's actually a little bit that I want to kind of incorporate with some of this right here, man. So after the fight, he ends up calling out a top-ranked fighter. And the top-ranked fighter was none other than Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell right here. So of course, I want to bring up the the big screen, and I want to talk about it really quickly. So it's just going to be a quick clip. This is my only clip that I have of it right here. I couldn't find the Sean Woodson interview right there, like where he was calling him out, but it wasn't anything crazy. He was just saying like, I want Bryce Mitchell, then I want top 5, then I want a title shot. Right? This is Bryce Mitchell's reaction to it. So let me.
Hey, when and where, dude? When and where? I'm sitting here watching this shit. I'm ready. I need some money. I'm ready to fight you. Tell me where.
So when you got a man who is damn near possessed like Bryce Mitchell right here, look at him. He's ready to go. The shirt's off in the wood cabin. He's watching the fight. He's ready to go. This is not the first of the shirtless antics that we're going to get into for Bryce Mitchell right here. But the point that I have is when you have a guy like that who is really like, hey, listen, send me location, Habib style. Woodson, what's good? Let's get it right here. Do you think Woodson is going to watch that little clip and be like, oh, shit, maybe I shouldn't have called this guy out, bro? What are you thinking?
You know, Bryce Mitchell's a crazy man. Shirt off, comes out. You know, he's ready to fight, man. And he must have been just jumping for joy getting a call out from Sean Woodson. That's an interesting match, though, because if Woodson can keep him at bay, it's going to be hard for Bryce Mitchell to get his hands on him. But Bryce Mitchell is a very crafty veteran. So this is an interesting fight to see who can actually move forward, because either one of them wins, man, they are on a good trajectory to start getting to that top 5, towards the belt.
That's right. That's right. Bryce Mitchell, of course, he needs to get his momentum back right there. Sean Woodson needs a win over a really, really notable opponent. Bruce Leroy is, in fact, incredibly notable, but to the MMA hardcores, not to the casuals right there. So that was our main card breakdown right here, AJ. And then before we jump into the news and notes, let's just take another quick look. There's one other fight that I wanted to break down really quickly. I say quickly because literally it happened so quickly, 37 seconds. Terrence McKinney, Esteban Ribovic. I unfortunately bet the over 1.5 on this fight. I'm thinking there's no way that we can just keep doing this. They're going to slow it down. They're going to ease into it. I mean, listen, McKinney is a live by the sword, die by the sword type of fighter. Ribovic is clearly a monster that we need to put a little bit more respect on. Just take a look. Beautiful Robert Whittaker style. Ooh, look at that. Some are saying that's a knockout of the year contender right here. Here's the big controversy, AJ. Ribovic didn't get a bonus for that one. 37-second flawless performance, and you get no bonus on that one. What do you make of the snub on the bonus, and what do you make of the fight?
Wow, I would have some words, man. You get snubbed on a great TKO or a great knockout, man. Straight up cold knockout right there. That's wild. I wonder why, if there was what kind of behind the scenes stuff was going on that Uncle Dana didn't want to kick some cash to Ribovic. But this was an impressive fight, man. And unfortunately for T-Rex, we saw it in the video, his hand was just a little too low to be able to block that kick. Had great defense, live by the KO, die by the KO. Man, this is an interesting one. I'm curious to see what comes out about why Ribovic didn't get the bonus.
Uncle Dana betting on fights, right? Was he betting on McKinney? What's going on here? I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, back to the big screen right here. Another sense of controversy. I like this fight right here. I actually was on the luck side of this fight right here, AJ. So what wagering is about, it's not all about skill. It's not all about research and knowledge. Sometimes it's about being on the right side of fate, right side of luck. And the Baby Shark, she gets a big win over Tisha Pennington, formerly known as Tisha Torres. Here's the key. I bet on Tabitha Ricci by decision. I think that was like plus 115, plus 125. She cashed in, but AJ, I got saved, because when we take a look at MMA decisions right here, this is actually pretty split down the middle, man. This is not a major controversy, but a lot of people on Twitter, and let me refresh it just to make sure I have the most accurate statement right here. Yeah, a lot of people, they were saying Tisha Pennington, she won this fight. I think it's a little bit, I was a little hard pressed to really follow through with that assessment right there, because one, hard to win a fight when you're going backwards the entire time. Two, there's more than just numbers in terms of I outstruck my opponent right there. It's ring generalship, it's control, it's other little factors that the judges have to take into comparison. So when we pull up the numbers one more time, just give me a quick assessment of fair or foul. Look at how razor close these numbers were, 94 to 92, 1 of 10 on takedowns, 0-2, but she did have 5 minutes of control for the Baby Shark. She got the big victory, 29-28 across the board. What are your thoughts?
I was actually rooting for Pennington in this fight, Derek, and I do think Baby Shark did enough to get the job done. Was it a star-studded blowout performance? No, it was a razor-thin one, and I do think the right woman clinched this fight. But the big one is in the eyes of the star, or the eyes of the media, I guess, or the fans, or the people judging this. Nothing was really superstar moment, so that's where I could see the kind of confusion from both parties saying my fighter won or the other fighter won, whatever the case is on this one.
What's the ceiling on the Baby Shark, man? We've been hyping her up for a while. She's fought a lot of valiant performers, but we're getting a lot of these razor close fights right here. And Tisha Pennington was noted coming into the fight saying that Baby Shark doesn't do anything particularly well. She's like very well rounded, but doesn't do one thing particularly well. Can she succeed against the upper echelon with this fight style? I'll just, so you know, my preview to that is yes, you just beat Tisha Pennington. So like, to me, that's a major win. She was like a top 10 ranked fighter before she left. So what do you think?
I do think Baby Shark can get up to that upper echelon, survive, succeed, have some good wins on that upper echelon. I'm not convinced yet that she's going to be touching gold. I see her at that pinnacle of that, like, top 5, if you will.
Okay, fair play. All right, AJ, because we're running a little bit out of time, we're going to go back to the big screen one more time. I just want to say, in terms of sleepers, we only had one. Yours got canceled, unfortunately. We're just bad string of luck for us. Folks, if this wasn't a sleeper, I don't know what to tell you. This was the sleeper of sleepers. I hit the jackpot on this one. Billy Ray Goff, Trey Waters. I'm a little surprised that Trey Waters actually got the victory right here if you look at the numbers, but Billy Goff is an absolute junkyard dog, and I said you got to kill the man if you want him to get out of there and you want to secure your victory. Trey Waters is a fun, hands-down, slickster, counter-striker type performer, and I'm looking for many fun fights from both of these fighters respectively moving forward. Give me a sentence on what you thought about the fight.
Pure value, folks. This was a sleeper. It was in the prelims. What else do you want? Derek broke it down perfectly. I'm excited to see both of these fighters in their next matches, but also Billy Ray Goff just going out there dog status, brother. Love it.
That's it. All right, folks, that was your breakdown. That was all the bets. That's pretty much everything that we had to cover. Only fight we didn't cover was JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy, the favorite. She did cash. So big win right there. Shout out to her. But with the time running out, we're moving on over to the news and notes right here. And we don't got a ton for you, but we got a couple entertaining pieces that I definitely want to touch on. All you need to know is this KSW, right? This fighter right here has a very elaborate MMA entrance right here. And this kind of makes you want to, like, say, man, UFC, I wish we...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Right out of Dragon Ball Z, like a cryo tube. They're bringing him back from the past to fight in the future, something like that. Looks cool. I like it, man.
All of that to say that he got knocked out in 14 seconds. Missed opportunity, clearly not securing the victory right here. But does this man ever come out to an elaborate entrance ever again?
No, Derek, we've seen it happen multiple times to fighters. They come out with the big regalia. I mean, the Bronx Bomber was one of the latest ones. I forget his actual name now. But either way. Deontay Wilder. Thank you, Derek. Deontay Wilder came out, blames it all on the heavy costumes. We've seen fighters come out with his exact same stuff. Big spectacle, big show. Yeah. You go and you get finished. I think having your forethought on how I'm going to walk out, how I'm going to be perceived, takes a little bit too much away from you. Go in there and knuckle up.
You think about it, I mean, look, Izzy's done some pretty performative entrances too in the UFC, but only difference is he comes out on the winning side when he normally does that. So, interesting outcome right there. All right, let's see what else that we have right here. All right, this is a fun one. Right here. So, AJ, I'll let you actually handle this one, man. You submitted this one into the news and notes section right here. Talk to the people. What are we looking at?
Man, this is just two guys who seem to not like each other going at it. How we see a lot of people on the streets get into a little bit of beef, right? You do an Instagram live, you let a guy in, and you both just start screaming at each other. I was just liking this one because there's things to sign the fight, put it down, put your parents' name out my mouth. This was a fun one. I just like seeing an argument, really.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let's play it.
Yeah, that boy Toy. Yeah.
What up with you, bro?
So Cedricus Dumas right here, Dylan Budka right here, 0-1. Dylan Budka. They've been talking about wanting to fight each other, calling each other out. This has been like a whole saga on social media.
Why you get your teammate? Wwhy you get your teammate to talk for you? What contract has you got? Please tell me the contract you got. Show me what Mick said. Show me what Mick said.
Let me get the camera clear. Hold
on.
Let me get
the camera clear. Show me the camera. Show me what Mick wrote you.
Hold on. Let my followers join so you can get some
clout. Man, I don't give a fuck about your followers, nigga. I'm trying to beat your ass like they say. I'm respectful in the chat. I'm respectful towards you.
You was respectful.
But why you ain't signing the contract? You acting like you all big and bad and shit.
Respectful in the chat.
All right, so clearly what it sounds like, right? It's just a matter of we want to fight each other. What a contract that? Sign the contract then. Y'all talking about it, right? All right.
I was, nigga. I was, but now you don't want to sign the contract. Why you don't want to sign the contract? Because the bitch ass nigga gonna try to wait on you. You can't fight.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
You grab dick and balls.
Whoever you won against. Whoever you won against. Whoever you won against.
Who I win against?
Whoever you won against.
I'm gonna get a lot. Bitch, you on fought one time again. You got nuts.
Who have you won again?
Cody.
You in the car smoking a blunt. I did that back in Baltimore when I was on my free time.
How many times you fought, nigga? You got a contract because you got called at the last minute, nigga. Shut up.
All right.
And you suck.
Hold on, the acceptance. All right, you got me there.
Right.
Listen. As we skip through, this is 7 minutes of just straight nonsense, right, going on. But the point is, this is funny. This is hilarious. You got these two kind of chirping at each other. My question to you is this: before you give an overall reaction on this, how amazing is it that this is such an accessible sport, right? Like you could just FaceTime, what's up, and now y'all getting into it. Like if you was in the NFL or in the NBA and a skirmish like this was going down, like I feel like this would be on ESPN. In the UFC, it's just another day. Like nobody even cares. They're like, these guys are fighting on 10 and 10s. Like what are we talking about? Like, we're not going to give no coverage to this. So what do you make of this spectacle that is this argument?
I love it, man. If you're not going to have media eyes on you, you need to put media eyes on you. Your life is in your control. And he even said, hey, let him join. Like, I want some beef right here. This fully reminded me of, you got beef in high school. Somebody, shouts you out or like they're doing a live, you jump in, whatever. You got beef. This is how it gets handled in the streets. And sure enough, this is how the guys from the streets are able to make it into the UFC to get some eyes on them, man. I love this.
That's funny, man, because you just reminded me, like in high school back in the day, like we're talking different generations now, right? These type of arguments would happen in person, and then it'd be a circle of people around you. Ooh, now they're like, what's up? The beat, FaceTime, what's up? What's cracking? You know what I mean? And you could talk all that craziness through the phone now. So obviously it's a wider internet circle around you, oohs and ahs in the comments, right? But it's not the same thing. Do we need to get back to the days, AJ, of the inner circle right there? What's up? So then y'all can hurry up, knuckle up, and then shake hands after and be like, all right, it's all good. But at least you were able to get it handled there. Because I think this type of stuff, if they're not in the UFC, this leads to, when I see you, something really bad is going to happen, and you know what I'm alluding to. So what do you think?
2000%, Derek. I miss the days of the meetup behind the lunchroom or back in the parking lot, whatever the case is. Those are character builders, right? And like you said, you end up, you scrap up, and you shake hands like men because that's how a fight actually goes. No need to do the other stuff, man. Prove yourself how men do get in there and get it done. And I really like this one because hopefully they do meet up, right? Hopefully we do see how this fight goes down and we can see that there has no need for the extracurriculars outside of the regular fight.
But you know what? You do have a point. And the point that I think is very clear here is when you're not getting pushed by the machine that is the UFC, you create your own push, whether it's positive or negative. And what do eyes draw to the most easily? It's the negative. That's why we're covering this on this program right now, because it's entertaining, because you laugh, right? But you have to say, if these two do fight, there will be a little extra steam behind it because there is this animosity. So this could be a genius marketing ploy right here. Who's to say? All right, AJ, one final clip for the news and notes before we jump up out of here. And let me go ahead and let me get it started. So We said this wasn't the end of the Bryce Mitchell saga right here. And folks, I'm going to just straight up, I'm going to say this as a program, the Bloody Water podcast, just like through and through right here. I don't give a shit. AJ doesn't give a shit about any of these politics. I can't speak for him. He can only speak for himself. But the point is, Bryce Mitchell is just a hilarious human being. And that's why we're going to show this clip. AJ, would you agree, or do you have another take on that?
Absolutely agree, folks. For full clarity, I had to ask my lady who were the people he was talking about in this clip, because I just don't pay attention. I don't watch. So not political over here. I just fucking love Bryce Mitchell and his response, man.
So yeah, check this out, folks. And this is the type of guy. And imagine this guy isn't a crazy guy. Like if he sees you on site and you're a normal, you're gonna get fucked up. Like that's just the reality. So this is Bryce Mitchell on the Twins pod. So shout out to them. Not sure what their podcast is.
I tell you right now.
Oh shit! You could already see it. All right. So all right, let's get it.
I tell you right now. Fuck you, Ben Shapiro.
Oh shit!
I'll beat your ass. And look, if you mess with Candace Owens, I promise you, if you lay one little greasy finger on Candace Owens, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna roll up on you, shirts off.
Shirts
I'm gonna
off.
have the twins with me. We're gonna beat your ass because you mess with Candace Owens. We're gonna be looking shirts off, me in the middle. We're gonna look like a 6-foot-tall Oreo coming at you, buddy.
Oh, Lord.
We're gonna stomp your ass to the ground. Don't you mess with Candy, baby. I'm telling you right now, I don't like Ben Shapiro. I'll say it to his face. Bring him on the show.
Oh, jeez. All right. So here's the thing, bro. It's one thing, AJ, if this is just a guy, right? And you're like, all right, podcaster, politic people doing their beef. This is Bryce Mitchell. This is a dude. This is Thug Nasty. He will cook you to the bone. He'll put you in a twister, and he'll put you in a terrible spot right here. So just give me an overall reaction to the hilarity that is Bryce Mitchell, because this dude is a phenomenon. This is a national treasure right here. I know he says some crazy, outlandish stuff. Let's not forget, he's the dude. He's the dude who brought the Bible in the octagon. Freedom! Yeah, let's go. What's your take on the situation, bro?
I love it, man. I fucking love the way Bryce Mitchell, he does not care about what anybody thinks about him. He lives his life exactly how he wants to live it, man. And you're right. Bryce Mitchell will show up, and if he sees you in public, he will put you in a submission and make you say uncle. He does not care, man. He will beat that ass, and when the shirt comes off, it's real. I love it, man, because not only what I like most about this clip, not only is Bryce Mitchell aggravated, elevated, trying to show, a little bit of Votto, take the shirt off, get a little hyped, but he also has the clarity of mind to make a funny joke in the middle, saying he's bringing the twins with him. We're going to be a 6-foot-tall Oreo and beat that ass. It showed to me that he not only has a true passion for what he's saying, but he has clarity of mind to get a couple clips in there, man. Make this a show. Make this something funny that people can replay. This is great.
It's being self-aware. He's a self-aware individual right there. So shout out to him right there. I just think one of the most hilarious parts about the entire situation is the ability to just simply be like, all right, bro, shirt's off. You know what that means. It's like universally it's known. The shirt is off. I'm going to beat your ass, bro. Let's go. All right, folks. So listen, that is the news and notes segment right there. We're going to go ahead and wrap up and jump into none other than a awesome rankings review right here. And I say awesome right here because, listen, at the end of the day, we ain't got a lot to break down right here, man. We'll just jump into one of these categories. And let's talk about, I think today, we should probably talk about the welterweight division right here. I think that's the one that holds the most weight from what we saw on Saturday night. So when we bring up the big screen right here, folks, want to give you another update right here. When you look at the rankings right here, UFC consensus on the left, mine in the middle, AJ's are on the right. Now, when we take a look and we look at the top 15, I got Joaquin Buckley at 11. UFC has him at 11. You have him at number 12 right here. His win against Nursultan Ruziboyev essentially does nothing for his ranking status right here. But again, I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to triple down, probably quadruple down now. I like this version of Joaquin Buckley, and I think that he can make some noise. We just got one major question mark in front of us, which is you have a stacked top 10 in this welterweight division in front of you. Are there any beatable names right here? When you're talking about your Jeff Neals, Jack Della Maddalenas, Ian Gary, Sean Brady, Wonderboy, Gilbert Burns, everybody up, Shavkat, Bilal, Colby, I don't see a lot of winnable names here for Joaquin Buckley, man. So how high can he get? And show me a winnable matchup right here in the top 10 of the welterweight division.
Jeff Neal? I mean, that's the only name I can see that's jumping out of the page right now. Other one than that, Sean Brady, maybe. That's going to be a very, very hard fight for Buckley. Kind of fire versus fire on that one. The only name I can see, man, at least that's coming off of my head, is Jeff Neal. What about you, Derek?
I don't see it, not a single name. I don't even give it to Jeff Neal right here. I think this is a different level of fighters right here, man. And again, Joaquin Buckley, he just dismantled Vicente Luque, so maybe he makes this look like light work for some of these fighters right here. But I don't know. I find it hard pressed, even against Wonderboy at his old stature, man. That blitzing style is hard to deal with right there. Shavkat, come on, let's be real. We're not making that jump up right now. Maybe a Jack Della Maddalena fight. You know what I mean? Like, let's just see. You got a counter striker, volume puncher in Maddalena versus a big heavy swinger in Joaquin Buckley. Something to think about right here. But this is the big question before we round out here. After Joaquin Buckley's big victory over Ruzi Boyev, does he stay at 12 for you, or is he jumping up at all?
No, he stays at 12 for me. There's nothing I saw that would make me want to just push him up in the rankings, you know. So yeah. Again, this is a big win for him and a huge moment, but I don't think it does much for his career going forward.
Same here. I'm not moving him from 11. I'm imagining the UFC will keep him the same right here. And with that being said, folks, that was your rankings review. So with that being said, we made it to another outro. Next week, we're going to be previewing UFC Vegas 92 Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. It's going to be a fun fight. After that fight, there will be a week off from the madness that is the UFC. So it's going to be the last fight night for a little bit. AJ, per usual, take us out of here, brother.
Woo, another fun week, folks. And like we said in the beginning, if y'all folks are cashing in, right, you have the checks, you have the stubs right there to show that you're winning money, either on our bets or on some of your own you're taking, let us know down below, because I guarantee a lot of those money coming in are right here from the Bloody Water Podcast, your favorite fighter's favorite fight show for a reason, folks. Make sure you tell your friend. We got some fire coming up for you very soon. And like Derek said, 9:30, 70 away from our goal of 1,000. We want to bust that, break it on down, bust through those walls, and go all the way up, man. We're looking 1,200, 1,500, whatever the case, but we can't do it without you folks. So we got to say thank you. Make sure you subscribe.
That's it. And I guess this is a very, very last parting note. We know what the audience looks like here, AJ. It's predominantly male-based right here, but we are recording this on Mother's Day. So, listen, you wouldn't be here without your mom. And if you don't got one, well, then, listen, happy Mother's Day. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, folks, catch us next week for the UFC Vegas 92 preview show. That's it for us. And until next time, peace.